Welcome. This is a gentle yoga practice for when you're having any difficulties with digestion. All the folding, twisting, and bending that takes place during yoga massages the internal organs, making it an excellent way to promote healthy digestion, relieving bloating, constipation, or even trapped gas. We'll start with Lord of the Fishes pose, Matsyendrasana. Begin seated, legs extended. Bend your left knee, cross it over the right leg. Reach the right arm across, either hugging the left leg or hooking that elbow on the outer thigh. Bring the left arm behind your backside. Try keeping that arm as close as possible. Elongating through the spine with each inhalation and deepening the rotation through each exhalation. Keep your gaze at eye level. Gentle breaths, nothing forced. Come back to the center and we'll change sides. Face whichever direction you'd like. This time bending the right leg and crossing it over the left. Option to hug the leg or make a hook with your elbow. Sit up tall and bring the right wrist as close to the tailbone as possible. Gazing over the right shoulder, rotating through the entire length of the spine. Inhale, grow taller. Exhale, deepen the twist. Start easing out of the pose. Come back to center, and we'll stay right here with the legs extended for staff pose, Dandasana. Feel free to grab a yoga block or some cushions to prop the hips up higher. If you're familiar with mountain pose, think of this as half of a mountain, focusing on alignment with shoulders stacked over the hips, ears stacked over the shoulders, legs extended. Keep a slight bend in the knees if needed, flexing the feet and drawing the heels forward. Most likely feeling a stretch in the back of the legs. You can remove the block or cushion if you prefer. If so, just be sure that you're grounding both sits bones into your yoga mat. Stay strong through the core, creating that space, stimulating digestion and flow that might be experiencing some blockages. Try to resist pressing the hands into the mat, relying on core strength to stay lifted. Relax through the shoulders. Breathe gently. Relaxing into a gentle forward fold. Next, lower all the way onto your backside for Supta Matsyendrasana, a reclining twist. Roll onto your right side, stacking the shoulders, the palms, hips, knees, and ankles. Don't worry if the head feels a bit out of alignment at first. Keeping the legs heavy, reach that left arm straight up. Open the left arm as the chest opens. Settle the left arm onto the floor, keeping both shoulder blades grounded into your yoga mat. Arms to the sides or taking cactus arms by bending the elbows, palms facing up. An opportunity to deepen that chest stretch. Bring the arms back in, reach back over to your right. Then roll over onto the back side. We'll repeat this on the left side. Lying on your side, stacking the shoulders, hands, hips, knees, and ankles. Reaching the right arm up, opening the chest. Settling that right arm onto the floor. Notice the right knee might drift back a bit behind the left knee. Extending the arms, palms down, or option to bend the elbows. slowly begin turning back to the center. Give both legs a big hug. Digestion can be a tricky thing for most people, whether it's due to overindulging or eating the wrong foods or being under stress. Next will be a standing pose, Ragdoll Uttanasana variation. Standing on top of the mat, feet hip distance apart. Inhale, reaching up, extending through the spine. On the exhale, round into a forward fold. Hang the head heavily, gently grab opposite elbows, creating a square for your head to hang. Releasing any tension in the neck, the spine, hanging heavily. Add some movement, swing side to side. Hips lifting away from the heels, lengthening through the back of the thighs. By the way, if you're enjoying this sequence or finding it helpful, please hit the like button or consider subscribing to my channel. Rounding up slowly, come into a seated position, seated gorilla pose, or bound forward fold. Extending the legs, reaching up on an inhale. Exhale, reaching into forward fold. Extending the arms, reaching for the feet. Bending the legs as much as we need to reach the feet. Try lining the wrist up with the tips of the toes, holding on to the backs of the feet. Gentle pressure to the belly. Try to maintain the seal between the thighs and the belly. Gently start inching the heels forward as the legs straighten. Soften through the neck, hanging the head. Feel that stretch in the shoulders, the length of the spine, and that slight pressure into the belly. Soften through the neck and the shoulders. Slowly begin rounding up, easing out of the pose. Next, we'll come on to hands and knees for downward dog. This is quite a common pose, yet we'll add a bit of a twist targeting our digestive system. Begin in tabletop. On the exhale, lift the hips, shift the shoulders back, extending through the legs. Pedal through the feet if you'd like. Allow the chest to drape toward your thighs. Now, widen your feet about the width of your mat. Walk the hands a bit closer toward the feet, closing in that angle. Now reach the left arm back across the body, reaching toward the outside of the right shin, lower leg, the right ankle. Looking under that right shoulder. Take a few deep breaths, driving the heels downward. Release the left arm back to the mat. Now reach the right arm across for the lower left leg, left ankle, gazing under the left shoulder. No worries if the knees are bent here or if the heels aren't all the way down. Return the arm back to the mat. Walk the feet back in. Lower down to the knees. As we take it to our cat-cow stretch, syncing the breath with the movement, inhale as the belly drops, lifting through the chest and the hips. On the exhale, round the spine, tucking the tailbone, hanging the head, relaxing through the neck. Repeating this a few more times, syncing this with the rhythm of your breath. Inhale on the belly drop. Exhale, rounding. One more time. Lowering onto the belly for Sphinx Pose. Salamba Bhujangasana. Propping up onto the elbows. Extending the legs. Widen the legs. Soften the glutes, low back. Let the legs lie heavily into the mat. You might feel the belly compressing as you inhale. For a deeper stretch, you can lift the elbows coming up onto the hands for Seal Pose. Gazing slowly over one shoulder and the other, stretching the neck, placing the spine in the opposite position that we ask of it throughout most of the day. Lower back down onto the elbows. Then lowering all the way back down. Bend both knees and little windshield wiper with the lower legs. Roll over onto your backside for half wind pose. This is a very simple pose, yet very effective on promoting healthy digestion. Legs are extended. Bring the left leg in toward the belly. Give it a gentle hug, either behind the thigh or under the knee. Apply gentle pressure of the thigh against the belly, creating a nice little massage for the internal organs. Keep the shoulders relaxed, neck is soft, relaxing that foot, ankle, lengthen through the spine. Slight tuck of the tailbone. Breathe gently. Release the foot back to the mat. Repeating that on the right side. Give the right thigh a hug in toward the belly, either under the thigh or below the knee, whatever's most comfortable. Gentle pressure, the thigh against the belly. You might notice some sensations happening in the belly, some rumbling, some movement. Release the right foot back to the mat. Shake out the legs. Stay on your backside for bridge pose, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Lying flat on the back, bend both knees, bringing the feet in as close to the hips as possible. Keep the feet hip distance apart, arms to your sides, pressing palms, shoulder blades, and the soles of the feet into the mat. Tucking the tailbone, peeling the spine off the mat, lifting the hips, creating a gentle massage for the internal organs. Take a few more breaths. Lowering your hips back to the mat. Repeating the bridge pose once more with a variation option. Tucking the tailbone, exhale, lifting the hips. This time, roll the shoulders under the chest, opening the chest, extending the arms, interlace all the fingers, press the arms into your mat. Feel most of the weight going into your arms, shoulder blades, and the soles of the feet as the hips float up. Gentle pressure to the belly. Take a few breaths here. Release the arms, lowering the hips to the mat. Give both legs a hug, rocking up to seated. Now that we're all nice and warm, let's come up to a standing pose, Garland Pose, Malasana, or Yogi Squats. Have a block or a firm cushion handy. Stand with your feet about as wide as the yoga mat, feet turned slightly outward. Stand tall, inhale, Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, sending the heart forward into a rounded forward fold. Place the hands on your block or cushion. Begin dropping the hips as the chest raises. Allow the hips to continue to drop lower than the knees. You might find that the heels raise up off the mat. Option to keep the hands on the block for more stability, or you can take the hands away into prayer hands, using the elbows push outward into the inner thighs, the knees. Take a few breaths here. Allow gravity to sink the hips downward. Feel the heaviness in the lower half of the body. Even better yet, the option to slide the block underneath the hips and sit right on the block. You're still benefiting from this pose. As you feel ready, begin easing out of the pose, pressing into the feet and lifting the hips. Our last pose will be a very appropriate pose to finish your practice today, a reclining twist. Lying on your back, arms extended out to the sides, bending the left knee. Reach across with your right arm, bringing the hand to the outer left knee and gently drawing that leg across the midline of the body to the right. The left shoulder blade flush against the mat, creating space diagonally down the whole left side of the body. Creating space allows the organs to work most efficiently. Hopefully, you find these poses helpful. You can always repeat the sequence. Take a few breaths here. Ease out of the pose and return back to center. Realign the hips, repeating this on the right side, bringing the right thigh in toward the chest. Reach across with the left arm to the outer right leg and bring the right thigh across the midline of the body. Keep pressing that right shoulder blade into the mat. Once again, creating space. Ease out of the pose. Realign the hips. Bend both knees. Widen the feet. Windshield wiper. Gentle movement. Thanks so much for joining me for this healthy digestion sequence. If you enjoyed this video, check out the video coming up on the screen now, Yoga for Hip Mobility. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video.